Okay.
Just the official grounds.
Yeah. I am gonna tell them.
Very well. Board of Directors work session, May 13th. May I have a motion? And a second.
And lines 156 through 170, I didn't know which building you were talking about. It says 7th floor.
My name is Miss Build in the entire May 28th, so I'm not gonna go line by line. Yes, on lines 51 and 54. My name is, my last name is Miss Build.
A piece of concrete was going to come through the ceiling, and Fairfax County would have investigated and said, "Oh, you have to make all those repairs." Board members must not disregard or impugn the information provided by Montebello by outside experts. That is especially true for legal and accounting experts. So for the community center, that includes the elevator, the 2 lower level bathrooms. Note that almost all of those capital expenditures could have qualified as life safety items, but none of it is discretionary. Instead, when we do such a project, we may very well take advantage of the fact that, oh, there is. I should also point out that every time my position on a matter is doubted, or Eric's position on a matter is doubted, just to help us keep up with Alexandria, Arlington, and DC. So starting in January, everything's 4% more expensive. I think with the exception of if you walk into an eatery and pick a can of soda, and this of course will hurt restaurants, knowing they ours.
The first number is the variance to budget, and this is for the operating budget to what we thought we would. So we're under budget. And so the day-to-day operations are very much in line of what we anticipated. It could be a parkway now, but that's 28,000. So that's coming up.
Garage coating project, we are getting close to being 90% of the way complete. This week we'll finish up the B1 level of the last building. So next week will be the B2 level. I think we're in building 1. Asphalt paving, because we haven't had a meeting since then, went really well. Gotten big positive feedback from residents behind 5901. There is a new small footbridge. Composting at the grill. We're still looking into setting up composting at the grill as kind of a trial that would also allow residents to dump compost into the bin here at the community center. And if it was turning out to be worthwhile, then we could look at expanding it into the individual buildings, and this will be part of the new environmental club that's being formed. And you know, every day we're battling with them. We've got another meeting set up with them upcoming, but we're kind of stuck with them because all of our equipment is on this. But we'll continue advocating for Montebello and residents who are impacted, which we understand, and we will do a better general property issues. We're working on upgrading the lighting in the B3 elevator lobbies, trying to make them. We're doing infrared testing of the switch gear in August. This is a lead up to the full electric shutdown that will occur in building 1 and 2 in October. Tentatively scheduled for October 8th, where they go into the switchgear and other electric panels and perform maintenance, tighten things, replace anything that's showing excessive wear, and so that way we don't run into any.
I have a gut feeling that they're just not stocking the parts, so they won't be able to provide to us in stock. For instance, the circuit board if that was on the particular basis where the big sheet wheel at the top, you know, it's just so hard to deal with them. Anyway, any other questions?
Yes.
So
The vehicle spaces, because of the condition, has not been, deteriorated from excessive use in the individual spaces. The next go around, the individual spaces and the drive lanes will all be done as one large project.
Okay, but the next go round is quite a.
Yeah, probably 5 to 7 years out. Yeah.
Okay, because I'm thinking about aesthetics. Yeah, not. It's,
We'll discuss it. That's where the laws lie. I didn't think about that.
this made me think of it because we started talking about the path to nowhere. The other thing that I wanted to mention is for the Picnic Hill revitalization design, in here you have the different options. Were they presented at the June board meeting or do you mean for the August?
And the different options are listed on my memorandum, where I say, you can, you can do different phases, you can do phase one, phase two, or then phase three. So
Okay,
those are-
not
those
a
are the
problem. I
different
just needed to put July instead of June.
Yep.
I just wanted to make sure that I had the same thing.
We didn't have a June meeting, so almost this whole conference area for each elevator, is great. Don't have problems with it. It's like a Rolls Royce, it looks brand new. Like
Is
it's,
the door,
it's the door upgrade.
okay, so even if we change that,
We're doing that.
We're
We're in
doing
the process of changing the door upgrade,
so
so.
while we're doing this, we're encountering these issues, because we're in the,
We're
in
doing,
the middle of it.
we're doing the doors because of these issues.
Yeah.
So once we're done with the doors, the
more it's inexpensive.
yeah, it's not a major.
Not my question,
It's
not my
better.
question, my
It's
question
better than
was speaking about aesthetics, not about price, not about bringing everything before the board, but I'm just asking, who picked those out basically? And I'm thinking
picked them out.
exactly, and if you put one up, where is it so that we can see?
There's two of them, so talk to me offline and I can tell you which one.
We have lovely butterfly gardens. And Larry Mead of the North American, this is being announced by poster in all the usual places, but I did want to remind the board.
Okay, first up, selection of the West American coating color, may I have a motion? Yeah, all in favor of toasted coconut, say aye. Opposed, abstentions. I want to go back in history a little bit and try to sum up. This is the original design from 2018. You'll notice the semicircle, and at the bottom, you see the grand staircase, and also the very lengthy switchback, which was going to be the quasi ADA sloped ramp. And at that point, I told the grounds committee to work with management, come up with something new. But going back to 2019 to 22, number of surveys were done. These were the four big things that people seem to be interested in. The mobility issues getting onto the hill, because when you come across the pool deck, and note that the astroturf is sort of required to make this work. If you don't put the astroturf in, can we make it nicer, add a few things? And that's sort of what we did based on input from the residents between 2018 and now. We don't actually ever have that happen, of course, because by the time we close the pool the second week of September, it actually gets a little cold out, and you see very little activity on the hill. If somebody wants to throw an Indian summer in at the end of October, great. Open the pool, that will take care of that. And now we have a way to allow those residents to actually get up on the hill and enjoy it. They didn't get to stay and enjoy the community center, or will enjoy Picnic Hill if we do the renovation. I have a memo from Bob Segan. I can read it if you want, but essentially he says, so I don't have an issue with that. We can discuss it if other people feel differently.
And therefore, we should be putting this before them, let them vote it up or down. In addition, I might add that this project has now gone from a $200,000 project to a $300,000 project. That's a 50% cost increase in the planning phase. Okay, so I think that also would bring us to the point where the ownership should be allowed to express their opinion on this matter.
Right, the main concern that I remember was the fire pit, and would that be accessible to everyone? And I think at the last meeting, I might have made a suggestion that we can put the fire pit in another area when it came.
But yes, that one is purely a discretionary.
If we're at the point of voting on pieces of this project,
only some of it's capital improvement. He's asking for a vote on doing this design.
No, I think that if we have to vote on the capital improvements, then that's what we should do. But this has already been discussed. We wouldn't have gotten to this point if we had not had approval to do that. So I think that we should keep moving forward. And I think this is very unfair. And I think before we do a vote, if we have to go and discuss it with legal, we need to do that because this is becoming a real issue. And we keep going back and forth with it, and it is not appropriate.
We have two motions on the table. First motion is to approve the project as is. The second motion is Nick asking to delay the first vote in order to get an owner's vote.
This committee has been working feverishly for years. I'm a liaison for the committee, so I'm gonna speak a little bit. They've been working for quite a while to get this project before the committee, before the community, and they have done what they need to do.
Bob Segan has said, we already have authorized the money. The owners did that. That has not been changed.
I thought so, but
So
you know, I
asking for another vote.
It can't have a vote on an amendment, which is what this is.
No, there is a very clear line, and I understand where you're coming from, but the clear line is new capital improvement. It's something that we don't know.
No, what he's talking about is the entire project, which includes,
Nick, would you consider revising your motion to say for the new capital improvement portion goes to a vote for the owners versus the entire project?
And as I heard in the October town hall, and as we see in the April survey, where over 53% essentially said do nothing.
standards, or I should say, we have the responsibility to make sure that our property is in good order. And we know that our picnic hill needs some kind of renovation. And the argument was that we made it more so for those concerns, they have been addressed. And to now deny the project to move forward, again, that is unconscionable. We need to move the project forward.
and I have to bring it back to reality. The reserve project does not go to the owners, except for capital expenditures.
This clearly falls under the definition of an alteration, addition, or improvement.
All right, let me try this differently.
I want to say one thing, John.
About the project, and let's take up discussion of whether or not we need to revote. Correct, but that hasn't even been designed yet. That's not what I'm saying.
Do you think we need, okay, now that we got past the funding part, the vote part,
It would, in other words, all of that would happen before it comes up to the board level. While it's being worked on by management and whatever committee is doing a project.
And if you don't like the fire pit, there are always fire tables and fire.
I would like to add one more thing about a conversation from our work session around the AstroTurf. Because one of the desires of the community was increased accessibility. I know the conversation was around AstroTurf is plastic, so that's not gonna improve the picnic hill and maintain the green area. However,
Well, since 9 people voted, there probably aren't any abstentions.
No, Rob is being.
I'm sorry, I thought you did. If there's a question or issue that pertains to you personally or to your unit, do not bring it up. Please contact management tomorrow.
The allowance for doubtful accounts of 138,000. I think this is really high, but and that should be
Total reserve, tax and investments, you're asking.
Our delinquency write-off on a point.
well, that's good. I have a concern. It's an investor insurance renewal. It looks like the code went up by 21% for 1 year. It sounds a little high, doesn't it? Related the insurance industry roll over us or what?
John Bell building 1 in 2005. And then at a board meeting, you'll say what it is, and then you'll vote, and then we can speak. So that's just my personal opinion. I'm sorry.
Well, I can start calling on the audience, during issues.
You calling the audience.
I just said I can start doing that if you wish.
That would be great.